In the year 1664, a single gold coin was struck in London that would come to represent power, ambition, and empire. It wasn't just a piece of gold, it was a statement. This was the first guinea, a coin born from African gold and minted under a restored monarchy eager to reclaim its glory. What began as a royal experiment in currency would soon become a global symbol of Britain's rise, and one of the most sought-after coins in history. After years of civil war and Oliver Cromwell's republic, Charles II returned to the English throne in 1660. The people called it the Restoration. England was rebuilding, both politically and economically. Trade was expanding, ships sailed to the far corners of the world, and gold was the key to power. But England's coinage was outdated, hand-struck, irregular, and vulnerable to clipping and forgery. Charles wanted change. He ordered the Royal Mint to modernize and adopt machine-struck coinage. And from this innovation, a new coin was born. In 1663, the first gold guineas were struck, beautiful, round, and uniform. They were the first of their kind in Britain, minted by a mechanical press rather than by hand. Each coin weighed about 8 grams of fine gold, its edges milled to prevent tampering. The next year, in 1664, the mint began striking guineas bearing a special symbol beneath the king's portrait, an elephant. That tiny mark told a much larger story. The gold that made these coins came from the West African coast, specifically, the region then known as Guinea. It was imported by the Royal African Company, a trading enterprise granted a monopoly by Charles II himself. The company's symbol, the elephant, was stamped on each coin to signify the origin of gold. But the story behind it wasn't all noble. That same company also trafficked enslaved Africans, intertwining Guinea's legacy with both wealth and human suffering. The coin that symbolized English power was, in part, built on the exploitation of African lives and labor. Still, Guinea marked a turning point. It connected the fate of Britain's economy to its global ambitions. On the obverse side, Charles II's face is calm, almost regal. The inscription reads, Carolus tu Dei Gratia, Charles II, by the grace of God. It's more than decoration, it's propaganda in gold. After a decade of chaos and republic, this coin declared the divine return of the monarchy. Every guinea carried not only the value of gold but the authority of a restored king. The reverse side carried the royal arms of England, Scotland, Ireland, and France, a symbolic claim to territories and influence beyond the island. The Latin inscription read, Mag Br Fraet Hib Rex 1664, King of Great Britain, France, and Ireland. Every detail was deliberate. This wasn't just money, it was an emblem of empire. By the late 1600s, England was transforming into a maritime power. The guinea circulated through colonies, ports, and trading posts. Its consistent weight and beauty gave it credibility across Europe. Other nations noticed. Soon, the word guinea itself became synonymous with high-value gold coins. The coin's reputation grew as far as India and the Americas. Guinea became the foundation of Britain's global trade network, fueling commerce, colonization, and the beginnings of empire. Over the next century, Guinea evolved with each monarch. Designs changed, portraits aged, but the prestige remained. By the 18th century, its value fluctuated with the price of gold, sometimes worth more than £1, sometimes little. Finally, in 1813, the guinea was replaced by the sovereign, marking the end of an era. But even after its disappearance, the name Guinea lived on, especially in Britain's upper society. Expensive goods were still priced in guineas, a subtle reminder of old-world prestige. The story of Guinea isn't just about gold, it's about the contradictions of an empire. A coin of beauty and craftsmanship, yet one tied to colonial exploitation. It represented progress, innovation, and global influence, but also greed and inequality. Today, collectors see it as a masterpiece of numismatic art. Historians, meanwhile, see it as a reminder of how wealth and power were built. Original 1664 guineas are rare. Those bearing the elephant mark are among the most valuable. Their worth isn't just measured in gold, it's in history, rarity, and the story they tell. At auctions, well-preserved examples can sell for tens of thousands of dollars, sometimes exceeding $50,000. For serious collectors, owning one means holding a tangible piece of the 17th century, when Britain's empire was still taking shape. Every scratch, every engraving, carries the weight of centuries. The 1664 gold guinea was more than money, it was a turning point. It marked the beginning of machine-struck coinage, the birth of a global economy, and the rise of British influence. It linked the minds of Africa to the thrones of Europe and became a symbol of ambition, trade, and transformation. From royal vaults to modern museums, from dusty archives to auction floors, the legacy of Guinea lives on. Because in that small, shining circle of gold lies the story of the empire itself. It began as gold from distant shores. It became the heart of an empire. And today, it endures as one of the most important coins ever struck in Britain's history. The 1664 gold guinea, small in size, but vast in legacy. You've been watching Coin Legacy. If you enjoyed this journey through history, subscribe for more stories from the coins that changed the world.